I spent so many years searching for self-love. It's not the easiest thing to understand. I actually used to think it was evil to put myself before another, a thought that was born from fear, shame and guilt. But I have since realised that it is not a selfish act to love and care for oneself. As we raise our vibration, we have a deeper and more profound impact on the lives of those around us. As we move towards self-love and self-care, we start to shed those layers and move towards stability, happiness and abundance. We start to manifest from a place of love instead of from a place of fear, which is a truly powerful shift. If we choose to have a death grip on people, places, situations or things, then we are living from a place of fear and control. If we choose to react rather than respond, we are also living from a place of fear and control. By learning mindfulness and consciousness, we learn to let go of this need to control. We start to look to the ebb and flow of life to guide us through the seasons. I have found it to be quite interesting to observe the peace, harmony and empowerment that I feel when I allow my intuition to be my guiding force. I used to work on the assumption that I was not deserving, but I am now nurturing this deep inner knowing that everything happens for a reason. I choose to look beyond the smoke screens. So although I lean towards optimism and this thought that everything is always working out in my favour, I am also not afraid to shine a light on the darkness within and outside of myself. We have this tendency as humans to attract whatever it is that we are focusing on and whatever it is that we need to learn. I know plenty of beautiful souls who have no issue building other people up, but I have observed that many have great difficulty building themselves up. It took some time for me to learn to listen to and nurture my inner child, but I am so glad that I did. I learned to create healthy habits that work for me. I learned to clear my body, mind and soul of those negative thoughts, feelings and emotions. I learned to speak positive affirmations to myself in the mirror, something that made me extremely uncomfortable at first. I learned to give to myself. I am so glad that I pushed through my discomfort, as I now feel happy, whole and at peace. What I have noticed is that as we make the conscious choice to nurture our inner child, we start to become less broken. If we are spiritual, we might look to a higher being to support us in this journey of self-growth. And that of course is absolutely perfectly fine. Whether or not we look to a higher being, it is extremely important that we give priority to our own self-love and self-care. We don't need to wait for another to fill our cup. If we do, it is possible we will be waiting forever, as nobody outside of us has that ancient knowledge of who we are, what we need and what we stand for as a person. Don't wait for another, but instead refocus so that you can start to move consciously and with purpose. As you start to uplift yourself and go with the flow of who you are as a person, you will start to intuitively know how best to support and uplift those around you. Consider this thought that if we focus on filling everybody else's cup, then we will drain our own and eventually it will be empty. This being the case, it is extremely important that we learn to fill our own cup first and foremost. When our own cup is full, we raise our own vibration, and this has this tendency to have a ripple effect in the world around us. I have come to the conclusion that love should not be equal to pain, and a relationship should not be about the other person fulfilling all our needs. Life is not about onboarding the burdens or the worries of the world. I have realised it is about learning to put those burdens down and going with the flow. What I have learned is that our intuition fades at the point that we choose to pick up the burdens. On the flip side, our intuition strengthens when we choose to do the deep inner work, embrace the lessons, and gradually put down those burdens. When we are overwhelmed, we can break down our healing into smaller chunks and work on one thing at a time. We can look back later at just how far we have come and be truly inspired by ourselves. We can use the same method if we are having difficulty with busyness of mind and don't know where to start. To pick something up and start somewhere shifts us one step closer to our goal every single day. We can make adjustments as we go, but if we don't start somewhere, then will we ever start? By looking back on how far I have come, I have realised the compounding effect of those small but intentional steps. Although some could say that not every step was the right one, every step moved me one step closer to my overall goal. I have made adjustments and I will continue to make adjustments, and I am realizing that as I do, my offerings become so much brighter and more beautiful. I would have returned to anxiety, depression and low self-esteem if I either hadn't started or had given up too early. At this point I cannot go back, I can only move forwards, which links directly to my mindset. Our mindset is a powerful force. Each day we have choice of where we will place our attention. If we hit rock bottom, we have a choice. We can either be consumed by these burdens that we carry, or we can choose to look at these burdens and start to put them down. The point that we choose to put down these burdens is the moment that we choose ourselves. To truly heal, one must take off those rose-coloured glasses and look deep within. But they must be mindful not to be consumed by their darkness, but instead choose to be vulnerable with themselves and nurture their inner child with a view to create a peace within themselves. Consider this thought that we are as beautiful as we see ourselves through our own lens. What is within us is reflected outside of ourselves, and so the world has this beautiful way of reflecting back to us what still needs to be learned and healed. We can speak positivity or negativity to or about ourselves or another, and perhaps we think it is having little or no effect. What I have observed is that our vibration is affected by our ups and downs, our light and our dark, our positivity and our negativity. We can guide it in any direction that we want, but first it is important that we see it exactly as it is.